And smile for the thumbnail. So I upload these videos to our church website. I don't get to pick the thumbnail that displays before you click the video. And last week's video has a shot of my butt because I'm leaning over to get something. So I'm smiling for the thumbnail at the beginning of this video, so we'll know. Also, last week, we spent a lot of time talking about some really uncomfortable stuff, and we did not spend any time on the seventh commandment. So today we actually have 4 commandments that we are going to blast through. So we're not going to do every activity in your workbook, but I do want you to go ahead and pull out your workbooks and turn to page 31. That's where we're going to pick up. That is the start of our discussion on the seventh commandment. And then in your catechisms, you're going to want to be on or around question 78 or 79, somewhere in there. Yeah. So take a moment to turn to those places in both of your assigned books here. And the seventh commandment, in the interest of time, I'm just going to read it while you're turning your pages there. The seventh commandment is, you shall not steal. And the explanation, for those who did not memorize it from last night's homework, is we should fear and love God so that we do not take our neighbor's money or possessions or get them in any dishonest way, but help him to improve and protect his possessions and income. So there again is that standard formula where the first half of the explanation says what not to do, and the second half says what you should do. The command itself just says you shall not. So what we're learning in Luther's explanation is a broader moral teaching than just the 10 Commandments. So I'm at the top of page 31 here. I'll just read all this stuff at the top there. The seventh commandment is all about how God desires that people look after the needs of other people. This is part of God's plan. God desires that we all look after one another and not steal or take advantage of one another. So you got an activity there in the space inside that orange box. Write down some ways that you can help protect and care for the earthly needs of your neighbor. What are some ways that you can protect and care for your neighbor and stuff that they need? Take a minute to write that down, and then we'll talk about it. Put some thought into it. What are some ways that we can protect and care for the earthly goods of our neighbor? Not the earthly needs. We'll narrow it down a little bit. Protect and care for the earthly goods of your neighbor. Everybody has a workbook? Very good. You guys laughing at this part won't be in the thumbnail. Yeah?
I bit into my orange and it made like a weird sound and she was laughing at it.
Oh, nice. Oh, you're legit answering my question. I can't hold that against you.
Well, it was a question.
I'm glad I know. The question was, what are you guys laughing at? So, all right. Ways to protect and care for neighbors' goods. Who wants to suggest one? Braden?
Not to steal them.
Very good. All right, we'll set the bar low here. So we protect our neighbor's goods by not stealing them. Okay. Anybody got? Yeah, really. From there, you can only really go up. Zoe.
Make sure no one steals them.
Okay. Oh, we're getting better. I'm gonna put keep an eye on them. There we go. Keep an eye on them.
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
It got in my eye.
Okay. What else? Some hands on the back. Yeah. Elliot.
Install or help them install a security system.
Okay. So
Keep an eye on them.
Sure. Security system. Yeah.
Coffee.
This is not obviously just lifted right out of your catechism, and that's all right. Tyson.
Help each other.
Help each. Well, yeah. The question is, how can we help each other, protect and care for goods? So, you gotta tell me how you'd help. Yeah, Caleb.
Donate to them if they need it.
Okay. Yeah, that's good. That's good. I'm gonna put. I'll put donate since that's the verb you chose. Yes, and that is a big part of this commandment that often goes overlooked. Last one, Brady.
Don't let anyone hurt them.
Okay, we're gonna file that under keep an eye on them. So yeah, keep an eye on their goods means don't let people steal them, and also don't let people destroy them. I mean, there's a difference. If a guy comes into your neighbor's yard with a club and starts smashing his windows, he's not stealing anything, but maybe you should call cops on that. So yeah, keep an eye on them. So a lot of times when you hear the seventh commandment and you say, you shall not steal, I'm like, oh, that's easy. I pay for my stuff at the store. Don't take things from my friend's house that aren't mine. That's easy. But the Bible very much describes the duty of a Christian not only to not be a thief, but also to help your neighbor to keep and protect what is his. And even more than that, to go a step further, if you find yourself in abundance, if you have a lot of good things, then you should share with somebody who has none. Where was it? I think it was just in church last Sunday. John the Baptist was telling people, people were asking John the Baptist, what can I do to bear fruits in keeping of repentance? What should I do to show that I'm sorry for my sin? And John said, well, if you have 2 tunics and your neighbor has none, share with them, right? If you're a soldier and you have the power to hurt people, don't hurt people. Don't extort money from people by telling them you're going to hurt them if they don't pay up. That's something soldiers, I guess, were tempted to do. And John said, don't do that. That's stealing. So that's a pretty obvious case of stealing. But sharing your abundance, there's even a passage, of course, I can't think of the reference off the top of my head, but in the New Testament, one of the apostles says, let the thief no longer steal, but rather let him work so that he will have something to give to those who are in need. And I would totally have made you memorize that passage if we weren't so set on the commandments and stuff, because it's a really good passage. And what it's saying is basically, let the thief no longer steal, right? So, don't steal, but rather let him work, which was not really in the scope of this question, but if you want stuff and you're not stealing it, then you're working to get it. That's the honest way to get stuff. But then he goes on, not only should you be honest, but the whole goal of having stuff is so that you'll be able to share with people who don't have stuff, right? And note then that means that you're not speculating as to why those people don't have stuff. If somebody's known to have an addiction or something like that, then maybe don't just give them money if you think that they might be feeding an addiction, because that's just hurtfully enabling them. But if somebody has an addiction and they're also starving to death, maybe you could give them food instead of money. And that way you make sure that, hey, I'm not a mental health counselor. I can't help your addiction, but maybe I can help you stay alive and give you the things that your body needs. So,
Oranges.
Huh?
Oranges.
You have orange, exactly. Yeah, you have oranges. Well, right now everybody in the room has access to oranges, so you don't need to feel an obligation to give to others. At least I think you do. Are there any oranges left?
No.
No, you took them all. Well, you thief. No, it's all right.
I think even more.
Where was I going? A lot of people will say, oh, don't give to that homeless guy. Look at him. He's scruffy. He hasn't showered in a week. He smells bad. He's obviously some kind of drunk or drug addict. Well, you don't see that in Henning. I grew up in a city. It was pretty common to have attitudes like that about the homeless. And you might not be wrong. He might be a drug-addicted guy who refuses the help that he needs to get out of his addiction, but he's also starving. And so we should have compassion on people whose physical needs are not being met. My father likes to tell the story of the time his mother actually accepted a homeless person into the family's house and helped him find work and basically helped the guy become an independent adult. And eventually the guy moved out, and I don't really know what happened after that. I stopped listening to my dad chatter about that time. But in any case, that's an admirable thing to do, is to see a need and help somebody with it.
Thank you.
That is keeping the seventh commandment. One other thing I want to comment on the seventh commandment, and then we're going to flip the page. A big way that people steal without thinking about stealing is, I would call it wage theft. That's probably not right. But when you get a job, right, you'll probably have an hourly job. maybe work in the gas station or something, and you get paid $10 an hour to watch the register and stock the shelves. And maybe you take a break. I feel like I've given this speech to this group before, but anyway, maybe you take a longer break than you should have. Maybe you feel lazy. Maybe you drag your feet and you don't do much. And when your manager says, hey, you should work harder, you'd be like, look, bro, I'm working as hard as I can, all right? Even though that's not true. That is stealing, because you've made an agreement to work for so many hours in exchange for so much money. And if you take that money without putting in an honest hour of work, then you are essentially stealing. You're violating the agreement, even if your manager can't prove it or something stupid like that. You know what you're capable of, and you should work for others as if you're working for the Lord. That one I know I've given before, so it all kind of connects there. Yeah, we talked about that in the fourth commandment, honoring those with authority over you. So it's the same principle there. To do less than your best in exchange for money is a form of stealing. So don't do that. Always put your best work in. I do want to talk a little bit on page 32. You can flip the page there. We're not going to do all the activities as I mentioned. I'm looking under that heading, How God Provides. And we've got 3 arrows there, and that's one leading right into the other. Who wants to read that paragraph while I erase the board? Go ahead, Zoe.
As Christians, we believe that God provides for us. He provides for our spiritual needs through the forgiveness of Jesus. He provides for our physical needs in 3 different ways. Look at question 81, or write or draw next to A, B, and C the 3 different ways God provides for our physical needs.
All right, so who wants to read question 81 out of the catechism then? Don't all volunteer at once. There we go. Yeah, Braden, go ahead. Sorry.
105.
On page 305, I guess? No, 105.
107.
Yeah.
No, wait, it's 305. We're not that far.
107.
No, 107, Elliot says.
Yeah, I think it's 107.
It's question 81, which is on 107, yeah.
Yeah.
Read the question, and then its answer.
Oh, there it is. How does God provide us and others with our earthly goods? He provides for us through the bounty of earth, air, water, soil, food, minerals, and so on. B, the
Vocation.
vocation of parents, family, and neighbors.
And then C's
our
the
jobs and careers.
jobs and careers. Very good. So, so next to A, B, and C, we'll just do this one as a group because some of the answers are in your catechism. But we're going to think beyond even what the catechism says. Write the 3 different ways and give examples of the 3 different ways that God provides for our physical needs. So give me some examples of your catechism's letter A, how God provides for our physical needs. Braden?
Like food, air, and stuff, or is that B?
So food is one of the things that you as an individual needs, but maybe like a harvest, right? Farmers grow food.
Wait,
And then of course air. Air is definitely on there. Yep.
so what about the bounty of the earth?
Yeah, the bounty of the earth. That would kind of be summed up as a harvest. Elliot. Water. Yeah. I'm just going to put water here, and I'll save the cleanliness of the water for further down the road. Air, harvest, water. That's pretty good. I mean, it's the bounty of nature, right? Could add sunlight or something. Elliot, did you want to add something else?
Soil.
Soil, sure, yeah. So these are the kinds of things that really only God can give, right? If God's sun fails us, there is no backup sun. Then the sun that gives all life to the earth, that is a gift of God. Same thing with the air in our atmosphere. Although we sure have shown a capacity for dirtying and ruining the air in our atmosphere, but we can still breathe it, and that itself is a gift of God. So we have these really, really big scale, natural processes that give us the things that we need. How about letter B? What are some examples of letter B? People and institutions that provide for our needs. Braden?
Like parents and friends and stuff like
Okay, parents. I'll put neighbors.
that. Family.
Yeah. I'll put parents and family there. Neighbors. Addison, did you have something?
He took a couple of mine.
He stole them. Man, he's just stealing everything today. No, it's all right. Is there anything else you've got in mind, Addison?
No.
No.
Not that I can think of.
Elliot?
No.
Well, there is more to
Teachers?
do here.
Teachers?
Teachers, yeah, we can put teachers there. Were you gonna say something, Elliot?
Do you include animals with this?
Animals. I'd put the animals up here.
Or just people? Well, you gotta be specific.
One big thing that is not directly mentioned in your catechism is government. I'm gonna go ahead and put government here, right? And you would know about the benefit of good government if you lived in a place with truly bad government. Say what you will about our politicians and elected officials, but at least we don't have military police raids on our houses to steal our stuff like they do in some country, where the powerful are given free rein to prey on the weak, or thieves for that matter, where the government is not actively stealing from you, they might be not actively punishing thieves, and so people steal or attack you to take your things, and there's nowhere to turn. There's no government to preserve order. So all government is God's government, even when people misuse it, and so we should recognize the good things that God provides in our stable society that He does through the government. Then how about letter C? What's some C-level stuff? Addison?
Our jobs and careers.
Jobs and careers? Yep. There's one other big one that's not directly mentioned in the catechism. Braden?
Like, I don't know.
Okay, suppose my job... Huh?
I was gonna say one of them in the catechism.
Well, what is it? What were you going to say?
Careers.
Huh?
Careers.
Careers. Yeah, Addison said that. I just didn't feel like writing the whole word careers. So suppose my job is I'm a professional racer, right? I run really fast, and people pay money to watch me run and beat other people, and the whole sports entertainment complex. And so I make a pretty good salary. What is something that I have there that enables me to do my job? Specialties, talents. All right, talents, yeah. That isn't even what I was thinking of, though. I was thinking of something much more basic.
Brain.
A brain? Well, you're on the right track, yeah? Education. I gotta admit, you don't need much of an education to run fast.
Heart.
What?
Your heart.
Your heart. Well, okay. I was really going for your legs, honestly. And I'm gonna lump all those things together into health, right? Your health, that is the ability for your body to do the things that a body ought to be able to do. When you have your health, it enables you to do a job to earn money in this societal structure in which we live, that is able to utilize the benefits of the world that God has made to meet the needs of people. So yeah, and your health is a gift of God. It is like the government, it is a gift that you don't really recognize until it's not good anymore. And then suddenly you sure miss the days when you could run like you could when you were a racer, or legs are a pretty big one, and also a pretty common one for people to miss out on. There are certainly lots of things that a legless person can do. Thank God, but I knew a lady who was blind, and she had a job that enabled her to contribute to society, but obviously she could have done that job more efficiently if she weren't blind, so that was an aspect of her health that thankfully she was able to live a prosperous life, because there are societal programs in place to help the handicapped, and she had a loving family and a generous church and all of that sort of thing. And that's really where charity comes in with the seventh commandment, is there are people who don't have some of the things that they need. And it's our job as those who have these things in abundance to share. So that's part of the seventh commandment. All right, we're going to jump to the eighth commandment now, unless there are any questions. Any questions on seventh commandment stuff? So, so all of the commandments in the second table, remember we got the first table of commandments, that's God stuff. Have no other gods, don't take God's name in vain, worship God on the Sabbath day, things like that. And then you have the second table, which deals more with our relationships with one another. Honor your parents. Don't murder, don't commit adultery, don't steal, etc. And each one of the commandments in the second table is designed to protect something. Honor your father and mother is designed to protect your family and to a larger extent your society. And then you've got don't murder, protects your neighbor's life. Don't commit adultery, protects spouses. Don't steal, protects your neighbor's possessions. And now we're getting into the eighth commandment, which protects your neighbor's reputation. Let's read together the eighth commandment and its explanation, and then we will talk about reputation. We're at the top of page 37 there in your workbook. So let's read the eighth commandment there, the first bold set of text, and its explanation. Ready? You shall not give false testimony against your neighbor. What does this mean? We should fear and love God so that we do not tell lies about our neighbor, betray him, slander him, or hurt his reputation, but defend him, speak well of him, and explain everything in the kindest way. Very good. So the eighth commandment revolves around the idea of a reputation. What is a reputation? Anybody? What's a reputation?
Like a personality of
Call
person.
it
What people think of you.
How people think of you. Well, I'm sorry I didn't let you finish, Addison, but...
No.
All right, yeah. You seem like you were grasping there. What people think of you. There are some more questions about reputation in your workbook that I want to go over. But I think it's a lot more helpful to talk about reputation after we have a definition. So with that in mind, you can have a good reputation. That's when people think well of you. And you can have a bad reputation. That is when people think poorly of you. And notice that your reputation is not necessarily tied to reality. You can be a wonderful person with a bad reputation. You could be a really scummy person with a good reputation. Your reputation does not necessarily reflect reality, but as long as you live in a society with other people, it matters what those people think of you. Why? First question under consider this there on page 33. Why is having a good reputation so important? Addison?
Because then people can look at you good, and then it can also help you with when you're gonna get a job.
Okay, yeah. So, I mean, that hits on two very important aspects of it. The fact that it's easier to make friends when even people who don't know you already have a good opinion of you, then, they'll be a lot more willing to be your friend, even though they don't know anything about you. They just know your reputation. And then another big one is getting a job, especially if your parents are well connected. I hear a lot of people in a covetous rage getting mad at rich young people who have a job that makes a lot of money in large part because their parents are well connected. If your dad is a wealthy businessman, then he can use his good reputation to benefit you and provide you with opportunities that you otherwise wouldn't get. You can be jealous of that if you want, although we'll talk about why that's wrong in a moment. But you can't deny that a good reputation can be good not just for you, but even for those around you. Any other reasons why a good reputation is important? Elliot?
So you can expand your social experience with other people.
Expand your social experience. Yeah. I think that's just a really fancy way of saying make lots of friends. So we're gonna let that be up there. Is there something else, Braden, or were you going to say make
I
lots
was
of friends?
gonna say make a lot of friends.
Make lots of friends. Okay, yeah, we've hit that one pretty good. Okay, and that's, I mean, I'm not to underscore that, or not to, downplay that, but it is, yeah, it helps to have a good reputation to make friends. How does a person's reputation get damaged? Elliot?
Not to be mean, but by doing something incredibly dumb.
Okay, I would maybe add by getting caught doing something incredibly dumb, right? I've done all kinds of dumb stuff that oh, thank God nobody saw that. But yes, getting caught doing something really dumb can hurt your reputation. Caleb, did you want to add to that? Or is that what you were going to say? Ah, yeah. Okay, Addison?
To either break God's rules or to break wherever you are's rules.
Okay, to break the rules. But I would again add, getting caught breaking the rules is what damages your reputation. That doesn't mean you should break rules, but reputation is a tricky thing to define, which is why we're going about it. Lissa? Being mean, yes. If you are mean to other people, then word will spread that, well, you're a mean person, yeah. Braden?
Oh yeah, I should do that. Never mind.
Okay, so far, everything you guys have mentioned is something where it's your fault, right? You get caught doing something mean or stupid. No, you were the stupid one. Mean or stupid or wrong, and so then your reputation suffers. What are some ways your reputation can suffer that are not your fault? Caleb?
If somebody frames you.
Somebody frames you, sure, yeah. That takes it all the way into a court of law, which is kind of how this commandment is worded, right? It doesn't say don't lie, although we like to paraphrase it that way, but it says don't give false testimony against your neighbor. That's courtroom language. That's something you do under oath on a witness stand, like in the the courtroom TV shows.
Like if your parents or your or anybody you're related to has like a bad reputation, that can affect on you, the way people look at you.
Yeah, so just as you can help those around you by your good reputation, you can hurt those around you by your bad reputation. Elliot?
Having people tell lies about you.
People tell lies about you. Yep, that kind of goes under framing. Alyssa?
Like where you live.
Where you live. Oh, that's a good one. Yeah, if you live in a neighborhood with some unsavory types, or even just a neighborhood that has a bad reputation, it can rub off on you. Yeah. Can a person's reputation be restored? Braden?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. How do you think a person? So suppose everybody knows you, Braden, as the guy who steals oranges from the homeless. How can you restore your reputation?
Give oranges to the homeless.
Okay, very good. Do the opposite of the thing for which you're known. It's a good answer. If you've got a reputation for stealing from the homeless, maybe try giving to the homeless. Yeah. Alyssa?
Move out of the neighborhood.
Move out of the neighborhood. That's extreme, but sometimes it comes to that. If your reputation in a community is destroyed, even if it's not your fault, and that's really why it's so important to protect your neighbor's reputation. Even if you have no fault in your bad reputation, if your reputation is bad enough, the only way to escape it might be to just leave everything behind and start fresh. Addison?
To like be nice to people instead of being mean to people. You can try being nice, and they will see that you're a nice person.
Yeah, they will hopefully see that you're a nice person, right? So this is tricky because I've been emphasizing getting caught doing bad things hurts your reputation. But if you want to restore that reputation, you need to get caught doing good things. But people don't like to talk about when you do good things. Bad news spreads like wildfire. But good news is like, if I got nothing better to talk about, I might mention that I saw Braden giving oranges to a homeless guy. And then if you want to improve your own reputation by making people catch you, well, then you look like you're full of yourself, Imagine Braden advertising on TV. Hey guys, come on down and check me out. I'm giving out oranges to the homeless people. Yeah. You think that will help his reputation as much as getting caught taking them? Mm-hmm. No, because then they'll just be like, gosh, Braden, you're so full of yourself. We all know you're a thief, and then it backfires. I'm sorry to hammer on you, Braden, but you look like a good sport, so. But anyway, yeah, the point is that it is very easy to tear down somebody's reputation, but very hard to build it back up, because it's just human nature to want to talk about the juicy gossip, the secrets that not everybody knows about others, and it's not really in our nature to want to talk about what a nice young lady so and so is, or something like that. Yeah, that's something your grandma might even have a hard time selling. The explanation to the commandments, which we read, outlines 3 ways in which we should not speak about others, and 3 ways in which we should speak about them. Use the verses found in question 84 to explain the harmful and helpful ways that we speak about others. List these ways in the spaces below. All right, so take a moment to read question 84 in your catechism, and maybe even the Bible verses that go with it. And we're going to come up with a list of harmful ways to talk about our neighbors and helpful ways to talk about our neighbors.
You do your eraser.
Are we reading any questions?
Not out loud, but you're going to read question 84 to help answer to help populate this list that we're going to make.
Where's 84?
It's right after 83. If you hit 85, though, you've gone too far.
Yeah, I do. It's right here, girl. Mr. Can I go use the restroom quick?
Yes.
She was gonna
Yes,
ask at
that's
the
fine.
same time.
I just
Okay.
got my chair out.
Well, just don't get too social in there. If you need to use the bathroom, you can just get up and go to the bathroom. I will generously assume that you're not leaving in protest and that you will return. Okay, that said, I'm not going to hold up the class discussion because somebody's taking too long in the can. So, let's get to it. What are some harmful ways? We'll start populating the red list first. Some harmful ways that there are to talk about your neighbor. Braden?
I just had one,
Okay.
and I'm looking for it again.
All right. Alyssa?
Tell lies.
Tell lies, okay? Very good. Saying things that are not true can be harmful for your neighbor. Braden?
Betraying our neighbor.
Betrayal, yes. And specifically, betrayal is not just like the specific definition of betrayal here, I would add, would be to tell secrets, right? Just because something is true does not mean you should talk about it, okay? If you know something about somebody that you know they would rather be kept secret, and you go and blab about it to the world, then you are betraying them, and that is harmful, and it damages your neighbor's reputation, so we shouldn't talk about it. Hold on, it's been so long since I've called on either of you. Cambry.
Spreading rumors.
Spreading rumors, okay? And as I've mentioned, rumors spread a lot faster when they're bad. You can try to spread good rumors, God bless you, but generally rumors only spread when they are bad. They could be true, but again, doesn't matter. If you happen to know that your neighbor is an orange thief, and you hear people saying, hey, I heard that Braden's an orange thief, you can still break the 8th commandment by spreading that rumor around, even though you know it's true, because it hurts his reputation.
Judging them?
Leah, right? Yes, sorry. Judging them. Yeah, very good. That one isn't in the catechism, is it?
No.
Oh, way to
Maybe.
think outside the box. I don't think it is. Was it in the catechism?
There's one about rushing to judge.
Okay, well, all right. Well, I'm still going to give you credit for thinking outside the box there. Judgment, yeah. So a big thing, this is more a mindset than a singular act. But if you are quick to judge people based on what you hear, then you are probably also going to be quick to talk about things that you have judged to be worth hearing. And that feeds into the whole destructive process that hurts reputations. Let's move over to helpful ways to talk about our neighbor, because there are helpful ways to talk about our neighbor. Braden?
Spread good rumors.
Spread good rumors? Sure. Actually, I'm putting the quotes in the wrong thing. How about instead of spread good rumors, I just say good things.
Say good.
Yeah. And it's not that you're wrong. It's just that the word rumor has such a bad connotation that rumors are almost always bad. So rather than trying to talk about good rumors, let's just say what you're really doing. You're saying good things.
Defending our neighbors.
Defend. Yeah. So that means defend neighbors. That means when you hear rumors or secrets being betrayed or something of that, or just straight up, when you hear harmful speech about your neighbor, you defend them. So be like, hey, Braden doesn't steal oranges. I saw him giving oranges to the homeless the other day. You should shut your mouth if you don't know what you're talking about. That's coming to his defense. That's a bit biting there with the you shut your mouth bit, but it's a good thing to do when you hear people giving harmful speech. Alyssa?
Keep secrets.
Keep secrets, okay. And I always, of course, have to put an asterisk here that some secrets should not be kept. If Braden has found out a secret way to steal oranges from the homeless and not get caught, maybe maybe don't name him in your accusation, but maybe go to whoever's being victimized and be like, hey, you should really tighten up your orange security. I hear they're slipping through the cracks. And but if the secret is like, I don't know, my doctor tells me that I have to take special butt cream. Don't tell anybody. Like, it's an embarrassing secret, right? And if it got out, then you might know me as the butt cream guy or something. So, maybe keep those kinds of secrets to protect your neighbor's reputation. Not only things that are incriminating, but also things that are embarrassing. Yeah?
Help them with things they need help with.
Help them with things they need help with. Can you be a little more specific?
Help them get a better reputation.
Okay. Well, it says helpful up there, so I can't just write help them.
Help.
Guidance. Maybe is that what you're going for? Like, if somebody just has a habit of saying stupid stuff and it really is putting their reputation in the hole, maybe you could be like, hey, next time somebody asks you about your favorite skin products, don't talk about your butt cream. Maybe lead with something like foundation or whatever skin products are. So yeah, I'll give you that guidance. Sure, a fellow pastor will one day tell me that if you're looking for a good example for your confirmation class, maybe don't talk about your butt. Elliot?
Tell good lies about them.
Tell good lies. Now that I would be a little worried about, because that can backfire if it ends up not being true, right?
Isn't that also sin?
Huh?
Isn't that also sin to lie?
Well, that's the thing is lies are there are occasions where it's good to lie. Give me an example of an occasion where it might be good to lie.
You're alone and someone asks you
Oh.
if you have parents.
You're alone and someone asks you what?
Yeah, you're
Like
at
of
the
a
park
stranger.
alone as a child, and
Oh, yeah, sure. So yeah, if you're a child and a creepy stranger asks you where are your parents, and they're not around, it might be good to lie to the creepy stranger and tell them my parents are right over there.
If the Nazi is living in your house hiding away from somebody and you need to protect them, it's good to say that they're not with you.
I'm sorry, did you say if a Nazi is hiding in your house? Maybe you mean like a Jew. Is that
Yeah.
what you're going for? Like
Yeah.
the Anne Frank deal? Yeah, so if you if telling the truth might hurt somebody, then you should tell a lie in order to protect them, right? So we got protecting yourself, we got protecting your neighbor. I'm seeing a theme here. I'm just going to give one more because we got to move on. if my wife asked me if I got her a specific thing for Christmas and I want to save the surprise, I might say no, I didn't. Or, oh, we've been watching a show lately that I already have seen, and I knew that a character wasn't really dead, but they really make it look like he died. So she asked me once, she was like, so he died, right? And I said, yes, even though it was a big reveal a couple episodes later that he was actually still alive. I didn't want to spoil it for her. So, the point in that is that the motivation behind the lie is good. You're trying to protect somebody, or you're trying to give somebody a good experience later on or something. If somebody else asks you to keep a secret, I learned this one recently. Good secrets have an expiration date, right?
Ooh.
So if I'm giving something to my wife and you find out about it, I'm going to ask you to keep it a secret until Christmas, right? And then it expires, and that's good. Bad secrets are when you just need to keep this hidden from everybody for the rest of your life. So if you catch me cheating on my wife and I say, don't tell anybody about this ever, that's a bad secret. There are exceptions between friends and such, but in an adult-child relationship like many of yours are, that is a good litmus test for whether you should keep a secret or not, is the expiration date on the secret. Okay, let's see here. We're going to skip the role play activity there's actually an example there at the top of page 34. Is it ever okay to withhold the truth? And then you have reading Exodus chapter 1, verses 15 through 20. We're not going to read it, but that's the story of when Moses, remember the Old Testament prophet Moses? When he was a baby, Pharaoh, the king of Egypt, ruled that all Jewish babies under the age of 2 should be killed. And Moses' mother actually kept her baby hidden from the Egyptians and lied about having a baby. She did it to protect her baby's life. And then when he got too big to keep hidden, she actually placed him in a basket in the river as kind of a last-ditch effort to commit the life of her baby to God. And, well, long story short, God took good care of him. But anyway, yeah, Moses' life began with a lie, and that was okay because it was designed to protect him. Okay, yeah, there's a role play activity that I'm going to skip in the interest of time, sorry. And is there anything else big? I think we've hammered reputation pretty good. So then turn the page to page 35. We're going to talk about the 9th and 10th commandments. We get another one to define. We always lump these two together because they are very similar. Let's read the 9th and 10th commandments together. So that's actually on page 33. Sorry to have you flipping all around. Everybody there on page 33? Let's read the 9th commandment. You shall not covet your neighbor's house. What does this mean? We should fear and love God so that we do not scheme to get our neighbor's inheritance or house, or get it in a way which only appears right, but help and be of service to him in keeping it. And then the 10th commandment there, which is the third bold thing there. It's quite long, so start memorizing it now. You shall not covet your neighbor's wife, or his manservant or maidservant, his ox or donkey, or anything that belongs to your neighbor. I'm knocking my stuff over here. Oh, dodged a bullet there. You guys don't have any neighbors with an ox or a donkey, probably, so you can just ignore that one, right? How about instead we finish it? What does this mean? We should fear and love God so that we do not entice or force away our neighbor's wife, workers, or animals, or turn them against him, but urge them to stay and do their duty. So at the top of this discussion here, we need to define two words, covet and contentment. And these are bad and good again, so I'll give them the right color there. The covet one is in question 88. Who would like to read question 88? Go ahead, Addison.
Page 111, right?
Can you guys have that page open before you volunteer to read it?
No.
Honestly.
We're almost there. 116. Next page. Okay, sorry. What is covet?
Coveting.
Coveting. Coveting is the sinful desire in our hearts to acquire for ourselves anything that belongs to our neighbor. It is also the desire to draw anything away from our neighbor for our own benefit. Anyone who is important to our neighbor, a spouse, friends, and so on.
So on. Yeah. Okay, so from that explanation, how would you define the word covet? Anybody can offer a definition. Braden?
Bad.
Bad. That's a start. Okay. You shall not bad your neighbor's house. Let's get a little more precise than that. Yeah.
A sinful desire.
Sinful desire is to covet. Did you have something to add, Elliot, or did you just stretching back there?
Try to take.
Sinful desire. I'm going to add plot to take. Everyone knows what it means to plot?
Yes.
To plot something
Plan?
means you make plans, and they're usually evil, nefarious plans. I'm plotting to take my neighbor's stuff, right? So that is a pretty good indication that you are coveting something, right? Sinful desire is a slippery bug because not all desire is sinful, right? Suppose I see that Ella is wearing a really cool pair of shoes, and I say, man, I really want those shoes. So I'm going to work hard, make money, find out where Ella bought them, and I'm going to buy those shoes for myself. Is that sinful?
No.
No, that's
the
wanting something and honestly getting it. Compare it to this. I really like Ella's shoes, so maybe when she takes them off at the door, I could swipe them when nobody's looking, and then they'll be my shoes then. That's sinful, right? Pay attention. Come on. I know it's long. We're almost done. The difference is not that I've swiped them, because I haven't stolen anything yet. The difference is that I'm plotting. I have a sinful desire that I want something so bad that I'm willing to break God's law to get it. And a good indication that I'm coveting is that I already have a plan to do it. That is coveting, and how you can spot it in your own heart. Coveting is a really difficult one too, because there is no outward evidence that you are coveting, right? If you're stealing, you know that you're stealing because you have things in your possession that do not belong to you. If you're damaging your neighbor's reputation, your words are the problem. But with coveting, there is nothing happening outside of your head that would indicate that you are actually coveting. It's a sinful desire that then gives birth to all sorts of other sins. Let's define the opposites, in a way, of covet, which is contentment. What do you think it means to be content? Yeah?
To do it in the honest way?
To do it to be honest. I'll put that up there, be honest. Ella, you had something?
Yeah, I was thinking of something else.
Oh, okay. That's fine. Being honest is part of contentment. Go ahead, Braden.
Being nice, maybe?
Being nice? Yeah, that's...
Or not stealing.
So the deal is, just as coveting is a state of the heart that is sinful, so contentment is a state of the heart. There is no necessarily physical evidence of contentment. You can't do contentment. Contentment is, I have it written down here, a state of satisfaction. You should write this one down, because contentment is also hard to define. State of satisfaction. That means that you are happy with the way things are. Now, does that mean you can never want anything? No.
Nope.
Right? If I want Ella's shoes, there is a way that a person who is content can obtain a nice pair of shoes, and that is you earn money honestly, and you buy the shoes honestly, or buy whatever it is you want. But contentment is to say, even if I can't have those shoes, it's all right. I've got shoes. My feet are warm and covered, and so that's fine. Yeah, I actually don't really like my shoes very much, but don't tell my wife. She bought them for me. Don't tell my wife, internet, ever. That's a bad secret, I guess. She already knows that I'm not a big fan of them, but they do feel nice. But I'm getting off course here. Contentment means that even if you can't have a thing that you want, you're going to be okay because life is good. God is good. You have what you need, and you're content with that, right? So contentment is not a lack of ambition, right? If you never want anything out of life, you might have depression or something like that.
That's sad.
Oh, it's true. I mean, that's one kind of classic indicator. Nice throw, Braden, but don't throw things in class. One classic indicator of depression is that you never really want anything in life. And that's not contentment. God wants you to desire things in life. But there's a right way and a wrong way to do that. And covetousness is the wrong way, and contentment is the right way. Okay, last thing. Look at the orange box at the bottom of page 36 in your workbook.
Okay.
We're out of time, so we're gonna. Actually, we're not out of time. That clock is a little bit fast. Whoever did that is sneaky. All right. That's okay. The orange box at the end is a good way to sum up our lesson on covetousness and contentment. And then I'll say a few things about the difference in the 9th and 10th commandments, because I skipped that. It has been said, reading from the box there on page 36, it has been said the 9th and 10th commandments are at the end to remind us that if we think we can keep God's law through the 8th commandment, by the 10th commandment we know that we certainly can't. What do you think of that statement? Is it true? Why or why not? What do you think of that? I got some nods there. It's in your book, so it's probably something you should agree with. As I've been saying, the other commandments all have evidence that you are breaking them. You know, you can worship false gods. You can curse and swear. You can not show up in church. You can be mean to your parents. You can kill a guy. You can cheat on your spouse. You can steal stuff. You can say hurtful things about other people. Those are all sins for which there is evidence. And people can say, look, you're a sinner. But you know your heart better than anybody. And even if you think that you are the best behaved person in the world, you cannot deny that there have been times in your life when you have wanted something so bad that you were willing to break God's law or even think about breaking God's law to get it. Covetousness is one of those things that everybody experiences in their hearts, and you're being dishonest with yourself if you would say that you haven't experienced it yourself. The distinction between the 9th and 10th commandments, since so far we've been lumping them together, is that the 9th commandment deals with stuff, right? Your neighbor's house. Luther adds your inheritance. I mentioned shoes. Really, any object. Huh?
Oranges?
Oranges, sure, yeah, getting back to that theme. Any object that you want that you shouldn't have, or that you're willing to do wrong things to get it, that would violate the 9th commandment. The 10th commandment, though, deals with people and relationships, and there's a lot of those. So it spells out your neighbor's wife or husband, ladies. Don't covet your neighbor's wife or husband, his servants, manservant or maidservant, his ox or donkey, or anything that belongs to your neighbor. And the big thing with the 10th commandment is that you get those things not by stealing them, but by being sneakier, right? If I want your shoes, I'll find a way to steal your shoes. If I want your girlfriend, I can't just walk up to her and take her. I have to tell her things about you that will make her like you less. And I have to try really hard to impress her to make her like me more. It's very subtle and sneaky, enticing a person that you covet. And of course, your neighbor has no possession of that person, right? Your neighbor's girlfriend or boyfriend, as the case may be. It's not like they own them, you know. I don't own my girlfriend kind of thing. I have a wife, that's a little different, but I still don't own her. She's her own person. And yet, obviously, that relationship that exists between me and my wife is special and should not include third parties. So if you try to entice somebody to break off a healthy relationship, or even a relationship that you've convinced yourself is unhealthy, that is all still coveting. It's just a kind of a sneakier way to go about it. But it ends with you manipulating somebody to dislike somebody else and like you more, and it's bad. Okay, congratulations. You've learned 4 new commandments today. I've got homework here for you. And again, I want to see the people whose names I listed at the beginning here. I have a little bit of graded papers to get back to you, but I got to be honest, I've had a very busy week, so I've been lousy with that. Goodbye, online audience. I'll see you next time.